wedding photographers and filmmakers, how you can get your perfect ideal clients, high-end wedding clients, through what we call multi-dimensional branding. So this year at the WLMA, we had our annual mastermind event where a ton of our students fly out, come and meet us. We do a mastermind event where we go deeper into sales, branding, marketing, improving your art, etc. And our coaches, Crystal and Aiden, had a really amazing presentation on how to attract your ideal, perfect, high-end clients through what we call multi-dimensional branding. The art of combining both visual and non-visual aspects of your brand. So without further ado, I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm just going to play their presentation for you. It's about 30 minutes long, and make sure you have a pen and a paper to take notes because they go all out to make sure you can learn these things too. I hope you guys enjoy.
So we're gonna go over today, and you're gonna have a lot of branding topics while you're here, but branding in its multi-dimensional pieces and the emphasis and the power of words. So today we'll go over the general view of the branding pillars for a wedding photography business, how these pillars dance together to create your business, how the words you use and how you define them plays a key role around your life and your overall business and sustaining it, and then how these pillars translate into your website, landing page, running your ad, and just your overall content. So I love this quote by Walden Newberg, by holding a positive and optimistic word in your mind, you stimulate the frontal lobe activity. This area includes specific language centers that connect directly to the motor cortex, responsible for moving you into action. So, and as our research has shown, the longer you concentrate on positive words, the more you begin to affect the other parts of the brain. And like Jordan mentioned in his talk, the power of words gets people to move to action, even in sales and just with your branding and anywhere you write your content. Our brains are impacted not only by the words we use, but in how we speak to each other, and furthermore, how we speak about our brand. So this is the branding building blocks pyramid. That's a mouthful. So the bottom is going to be your non-visual branding element. And if any of you have seen the non-visual elements of branding module, I encourage you to do so. I cover it in depth. I'm going to be just going over a general view in it, and you guys can refer to the module. Then we're going to go over ideal client, describing your style, and then visual branding elements. Just touching on that because Haniel is going to go, dive deep all into that. So this pyramid here is often what a lot of people think they have, and often what they do have is more like this. And that's okay, it happens. That happens when you are improving your product, it happens when you're improving your mindset or your business strategies. When one elevates, the other two sides of the golden trifecta also must grow with it. So we're going to talk today about how do we fill those gaps? How do we make sure that your brand is in alignment through the power of words? So we'll first start with the non-visual aspects of branding elements. So I have it summarized here, kind of a very easy structure. And when you watch the non-visual aspects of branding module, you'll see that purpose, your why, helps you define your values for what you stand for, helps you define your vision mission. These three add up, essentially, help you create your brand story and brand positioning, which helps you create your customer journey and experience. And Christora and Tom are going to go really deep into how to create a cohesive brand experience. So if I had to sample and make an example of what this would be like, I'm just going to read through these real quick and give you an idea of what we're looking for. So your purpose and why goes beyond just having a business to take photos. So if I had to make an example, it would be to make money, obviously, have freedom to travel, time with family, and time to invest in my health. My business doesn't just serve me, it also serves the purpose to create transformational change in the lives of others so that they can be creators of their own lives and joy. Now, if I had to pick values, I'd pick beauty, intuition, connection, creativity, and authenticity. And I'm going to put a pin in values, and we're going to go a little further, and just picking your values is not enough. The next one is mission, vision, to capture the beauty within each individual and the blooming connection they create together. I want to create a connection with each of my clients and have this felt in each photograph that I take with purpose and intention. And brand story positioning, if I had to summarize that, everyone is unique and beautiful, but not everyone feels that way. So after a journey of learning to truly love and appreciate myself and my voice, I want to teach others to find that inspiration in each photograph I take. I do this by creating natural, dynamic poses that are flattering to each individual and creating a relationship with them that makes them comfortable to do so. So back on the values. Something that I've been going over in all the coaching calls this year is not just to pick any values. We can throw words out there, but not actually know and understand the meaning. It becomes this hidden thing in the archives that people don't actually resonate with. So what I'd like to do is have people not only find their values, but define them. What do those values mean to you personally, and then what do they mean to you and how you run your business? Furthermore, finding words and phrases that resonate with that word. What this does and the purpose of it is it helps you give this word bank that you can use in your Facebook, Instagram, email series, so then you're not just talking about your values from a one-dimensional standpoint. So here's an example. If I were to define each of these and what they meant to me, and then finding words and phrases that I connected to that word, it doesn't have to be a direct synonym. It helps you bring more life to that value. So beauty. To add beauty into the world through how I work with people and to help others see the beauty with themselves. Words/phrases. I would say elegant, grace, attractive, eye-capturing, captivating, confidence, and strength. And then if I were to define intuition, I would say to work naturally with what's true to me and allowing my creativity to flow, as well as helping others to become aligned with themselves to live a life that is true to them. Some words and phrases I would say would be instinct, natural, innate, self-awareness, flow, and creativity. Connection. So I would define that as connecting with people and creating meaningful relationships is important to how I work, as well as helping others connect with themselves in a way that allows them to create that same connection in other areas of their lives. Words and phrases that relate would be relation, network, togetherness. And then finally, creativity. I would define that as I approach things intuitively and allow my natural innate creativity to flow with how I approach both art and science and allow them to ebb and flow together. And then words and phrases that relate would be innovative, inventive, original. I didn't put many phrases up there, but you get the gist. It could be your specific phrase of what those words mean to you. Now, throwing out values without knowing what they actually mean to you and how you run your business keeps you separated from your own brand. Defining what those values mean to you and how you run your business breathes life into them. It also gives a word bank, like I mentioned. It helps you give dimension to how you describe the essence of your business. And I love these two quotes from Brené Brown. She says, to form meaningful connections with others, we must first connect with ourselves. If we want to find the way back to ourselves and one another, we need language and the grounded confidence to both tell our stories and be stewards of the stories we hear or the ones we see through photos. And this is what the non-visual aspects of branding helps us do. It requires us to connect with what's most important to us so we can create a business that has purpose and aligns with who we are and the direction we desire to go in. It also helps us serve people who desire the same thing, and it creates a magnetic force with those individuals. The sales process becomes an act of deep service and not about money when this is done. So it's important to revisit your values and the overall non-visual aspects of branding so that you're growing with it. And this is something I found no matter how long you've been in your business. I've had people who've been in there for 15 years like, well, I know my values. I'm like, okay, could you share them with me? And they're not very clear on their own values. They're not very clear on any aspects of the pyramid. And so if you're unclear, how can you communicate what it is you do and what it is you stand for? You won't always have your cheat sheet with you. You should have it so your brand should be living within you so that you're able to share it with me. So I have this magnetic force to your brand and want to work with you. So now we're going to go into the ideal client briefly. In order to run your business effectively, you also must know who you are working with so well you don't need to look at your ideal client worksheet. You understand them deeply. The more you understand their pain points, the things that impact their daily life, the better you can truly connect with them and be of service. You can't really know how to help other people if you're not really clear on who this person is. I've had a lot of people explain their ideal client, people from beginners to who've been in the industry 20 years, and they're still not able to describe who their ideal client is in a way where I can fully, clearly see them. So if I were to describe Aiden, black on black on black, he's wearing a gold chain, black glasses. He's very clear, curly hair. I know who he is. I'm describing him well. What happens is I work with people who wear t-shirts. Well, there's a lot of people who are wearing t-shirts. I work with people who wear pants. And that's how vague a lot of people's ideal client avatar is. And they say, oh, well, I like to work with people who want to spend cash. Well, that is a big platform of people, don't we all? Yes, it's a great plan. But that keeps us so lost in the type of person we're going to actually work with. So, for example, if my ideal client was outdoorsy, adventurous, easygoing couple, I would probably post content showcasing outdoor couples. Post content that was helpful to couples who wanted outdoor sessions. So not only are my ads going to be resonating with them, so is my copy, even my consultation. I'm not going to describe my work in a way that doesn't resonate with them. To go deeper, if I wanted to target couples who are traditional, family-oriented, social, I would post content that showcased this. An example would be if they were traditional or social, had big families, how can I show up for them? Well, they probably are stressed. They probably have such big family, they don't actually know how to do the wedding planning process, so I'm going to help them. Hey, here's how to keep everyone included without keeping them included. Have so-so pass out the schedule for the day. Have someone else research something for you. It keeps them included and not in this messy part and like being a bridesmaid and groomsman in your wedding. So it helps add value. When you're able to show value and teach couples how to navigate their wedding day, it's going to really show through with your brand. So you want to understand their behaviors and tendencies, and behaviors is defined as the way in which an animal or person acts in response to a particular situation or stimulus. Tendencies is an inclination toward a particular characteristic or type of behavior. This is important to understand the type of person, not just like the outward exterior. We want to understand what are their tendencies, because when we understand their behaviors, we can show up and present ourselves in front of them in a way they will see us. I've shared this with a couple of you. It's like if you were a lion out in the fields of Africa and you were hunting gazelle. Gazelle know exactly where to find their prey because they have studied their behaviors and tendencies. They know where they go to the watering hole. They know where they sleep. They know where they hang out, how fast they run. It's because they've studied it. And so we want to study our ideal clients in the same way to present ourselves and find them in the right spots. So if you understand this, you'll understand how to position yourself in the market, and that way that speaks to them. You'll be able to use words, imagery, headlines, and content that would resonate with them and truly captures their attention. So let's do a little sample here. And these are just attributes that I picked out that are common amongst a bunch of people. I've done this probably over 50 times this year, and these are probably the top key things that come up. So to simplify the process, I do these 4 main categories. There is definitely more you want to do, but this helps get the ball rolling. Traits, careers, hobbies, and then where they shop. So traits. A lot of people say, I want easygoing couples. I want people who are structured but maybe flexible. I want them educated. So I ask them, okay, then they get stuck. They're done with traits. They're not really sure, and that's okay. This is kind of a hard exercise. Okay, what careers have the people you enjoyed working with typically have? This is just an example. There's all kinds, but I've had a couple lately. Nurses, doctors, dental hygienists. I'm like, okay, so if they are in the medical profession, I can think they're probably health conscious. So then we can put under traits, they're health conscious. Now, if I'm going to hop over to hobbies, if they are health conscious, they probably stay healthy. So they might be at gyms, they might be in yoga, spin, because they also tell me they want people who have a refined taste or a big budget. So these people who are health conscious, have a big budget, will be in yoga, spin classes, Pure Barre, CrossFit, because they're health conscious, but you also need a little extra cash to involve yourself in those activities. These same people will probably be hosting events. Why? Because they are social. They are outgoing. If you've told me those are the traits. Now, I can also think, well, they probably do fine dining. If they're people who, and you see it becomes a web. So these people like to be social. They have a bigger budget and they're health conscious. So these things, there's tendencies and behaviors. And that's not to box people in. It's to understand that we all have tendencies and behaviors. There's always the exception to the rule, but this helps us study the ideal client. And then where they shop. Well, I put Whole Foods because if they're health conscious, this aligns with the career and the traits they told me. And then Starbucks, if they are indeed nurses or doctors, they're definitely busy, tired, they're going somewhere to get some caffeine.
Are we going to get these slides as well?
Yes, absolutely. So when you understand these things about them, you'll know where to find them in person and online, and where you'll be doing the most marketing is online. So that's describing, went over non-visual branding elements, ideal client. Now we're going to go into describing your style. So if you cannot describe your work, how you edit, how you pose, and the overall style and approach to how you take photos, then you won't be able to communicate this effectively to your ideal audience. You might have the right person, but the wrong description of your brand. Therefore, how will they know to want to work with you? Words have power to change your thinking, your relationships, and your business. So using words that not only deeply resonate with you, but your ideal audience is just essential to success. We heard that from Jenny Lynn's talk today. Words have power in your own mind to change your thinking. You heard in Jordan's talk today, words have power in positive psychology and in sales to get people to move to action. Words also have power in connecting with people who can become your clients. This is why it's important to define our non-visual aspects of branding. Have clarity in our ideal client and be able to accurately describe what our work is. So you may know your style, you may know your ideal client, but if you aren't using the right words to describe them or your style, how can they know that you are offering something specifically for them? And it's something they actually want. Your words determine this. So I'm gonna go into visual branding real quick. Daniel's gonna be covering that on his own thing tomorrow. And then we'll go back into describing your style and showing you how this marries each other. So visual branding encompasses logo, your presets, business colors, typography. Photo style, that goes beyond the preset, and I do cover this in the visual aspects of branding module that I've added into the course. Website and landing page. Those are all the elements, and let's see how that comes together in a little bit. So bringing words to each of these pillars helps. So the pillars, I'm referring to the triangle here. Your business from a dimensional plane to a multi-dimensional persona. In the same way we don't describe a person using just one word, because humans are so much more complex than that, we must find multiple words, multiple phrases, and even analogies to describe our brand. When you have these pillars in place, it translates like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on my two volunteers, Aiden and Tom, and we're gonna take a peek at their website. So we have Aiden's website here, and you see it says there's a beautiful photo, epic, evocative, soul-stirring, and real. Go down. The magic awaits. The magic's in the details, soul-stirring, wedding photography from Orlando, Florida. Capturing the most honest version of your relationship. I'm gonna skim through my approach. Tasteful, truthful, trustworthy. We're gonna go straight down to here. I describe my work as evocative, soul-stirring, and real. I'm all about capturing the most honest version of you and your relationships. With tears or laughs, with goofy faces or moments full of passion and seduction. These are his business values, his mission, all the non-visual elements of branding, all on his website. I know who he is, where he's from, who he works with, and his style, all said on his website. I'm not left wondering where to find this information. And then furthermore, when you get to know Aiden, he says with tears or laughs with goofy faces, you know how passionate, fun-loving, and goofy Aiden is. And so he is in alignment with his brand. Not just the visual aspects, and he has beautiful art, you see it's very cohesive, but in the non-visual aspects, and then also with the customer experience. Now we're gonna go and take a peek at Tom's website. I'm not sure how to get back to this. Here we go. And we're gonna scroll down here, and it says, real moments creatively captured, based in New Jersey, traveling worldwide. Honest, modern photographs that tell the unique story of your celebration. And I'll stop there for his, but if you look to the left and you look to the right, those are modern photographs. He accurately describes his style. And we'll go a little bit more into that in just a second with Aiden. But to continue, how do I get this back up, Jordan? I think I got it, never mind. So when you put all this together and create clarity and definition to your brand, the better message you'll have and the greater longevity of your brand will be. The words you use to describe your ideal client, your style, your visual branding will make or break your brand experience. So we want to take this fragmented version of branding and bring it to this solidified version. And that takes you going back through your own brand, reverse engineering your business. If you've decided, remember, we all change, we all grow. The values you may have had in your teens are not the same values you're going to have as an adult. And you're going to be constantly growing, ebbing, flowing, and so will your business, because your business is a part of you. It's not just a separate piece. It impacts your day-to-day life. It impacts your personal life, your family, your friends, your kids. So it needs to live and breathe in you and also grow with you. It's important to not just know how we work or who we want to work with, but to be able to communicate this through both the non-visual and visual aspects of branding. We have more than one way, again, of describing a person. We should also have more than one way of describing our brand, defining our values and finding words and phrases that relate, help us take our brand from a one-dimensional brand into a multi-dimensional living and breathing thing. I love this quote. Prove to the world that you are alive. Let your words breathe life into the nostrils of the universe. My own rendition of this is prove to the world that your brand is alive and multi-dimensional, and let it breathe life into the wedding industry and how you work with each couple. How that shows in a landing page, we just went over the websites and how that marries each other. Now we're gonna have Aiden show you how the power of words show up on your landing page and how you guys can continue to carry this through.
It's not over yet, it's not over yet. I'm just piggybacking off of her. No, but before we get on to the landing page and ad copy, I just want to say, we're focusing here on words. So everything that Crystal just brought in terms of the non-visual, visual branding elements, a lot of you guys have been on coaching calls with me for ads before, and what is one of the number one things that I always say? You guys had to have your branding done first, because you can't write your ad copy or have your landing page ready if you don't have all that stuff done beforehand, right? So everybody can raise their hand for this because I know everybody's done it. How many of you have copy and pasted Jordan's ad copy right into Facebook, right? Yeah. Everybody's guilty of it. I did it too. It all happens. But when we take that into account, right, and we're talking about words and understanding your brand and making sure all of that is together, we want to go first into what is the objective of running an ad. A lot of people here will say, oh, it's to get leads, right? That's half correct. You want leads. You need leads into your business, but that's not why you're running ads on Facebook specifically. We're using Facebook because it is one of the best platforms for us to spend a little bit of money, but get a lot of return on investment back, right? I know a lot of you guys have spent maybe, what, $100 to $300 or so. You pull in 30 leads. I know Olu just got 26, 30 on your last ad. Yeah, and out of those, how many can he book? That's up to him. I don't know, but that's a lot of profit back in. But you won't be able to do that unless you have all of the branding stuff done beforehand, because he could pull in 26 leads. Ballman can pull in 50 leads. Anybody here can pull in leads, but dependent on what is on your ad copy, your landing page, and your branding will dictate the types of people that are coming into your business through those leads, right? So what makes an ad successful? It's not about how many leads you get. It's about, are you spending the least amount of money to get the most amount of results? That's what makes a successful campaign, all right? And we want the best results for the least amount of money spent because that's profit in our pocket, right? That's why we're running them in the first place, so that we can make some income from it. So how do we do that exactly? It's a little bit more than just, hey Aiden, how do I set up the pixel? I got my landing page done. I got the copy and paste ad copy. Are we gonna run some ads? No, it's gonna be a lot more than that. So jumping back onto everything that Crystal just said, the last few slides she was showing about defining your work, accurately describing your work. Tom, how would you describe your work?
True life luxury.
True life luxury. Easy. You see how quick he did that? I just want that to sink in. How quick he did that. If it takes you a second, if I ask anybody in this room, how do you describe your work? And you're kind of like, well, it's...
I know. I'm like, he's going to call on me?
Yeah. I'm only calling on Tom. But if you can't do it that quick, you shouldn't be running ads, because you're not ready to be running ads. If you can't describe your work and know your brand to that extent, that quickly, then all of it's going to be for naught, right? So let me pull this up here real quick, and I'm going to use my example right here. All right. So this is an ad I was running last month. It pulled in 36 leads, all right? And out of those 36, I would say about 15 of those people I was able to give a free engagement session because they aligned with my ideal client, my brand, and everything that I look for. I could have chose more, but I don't want to because I don't need to. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm going to point out here, okay, is I did take some of Jordan's copy because it works so freaking well. Recently engaged, all right? So think about it. Your bride is scrolling through Facebook and then your image pops up, right? So that's going to be the first part of her seeing you guys on Facebook and her entering into that beginning stage of your business, okay? So with the image, some people might not like this photo. And that's on purpose, because this is not a style for everybody. If you're light and airy and you don't like dark and moody and kind of stuff like this, I don't want you, because that's not my client, right? So I put out this specific piece of work because also with this year, I'm trying to direct my work and my clientele more towards creating stuff like this, okay? So you're going to see here with the ad copy, right? We're going to read through it. I'm looking for engaged couples who are drawn to epic, was the first word on my website, epic, real and jaw-dropping engagement portraits. I'm offering 3 couples a chance to win a one-of-a-kind engagement session experience. Okay, so this is a huge part of going into the branding elements and those different aspects for my specific ad copy that I wrote here. And I've been running this ad copy for about 6 months now. And I refined it even more this last month, and I got a ton better results this January than I did the last couple months. But you go off, you introduce yourself, and then one thing that a lot of people aren't doing is talking about themselves, right? So Crystal said you should be able to tell people who you are right off the bat, right? She sized me up. I'm all in black, got a gold chain, I'm a dork, whatever. All right, so forming strong friendships with my clients is so important to me. Anybody here who knows me knows that I'm a people person. I love people. I want to be your friend. I'm going to look out for you as much as you look out for me. 100%. This guy's shaking his head like crazy. I don't want just the regular photographer and client acquaintance, right? I love creating extremely unique images, or unique and stunning imagery with my couples. So just touching on that with the power of words, right? In my area, I don't see anybody with photos like this. And I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but I have a distinct and specific style, and that is what I am describing to people for the ones who want this style, right? So just going over a little bit more, where was I? So I eagerly look forward to getting to know you and your fiance first to make sure we are able to do just that. So I'm letting people know right off the bat, when they see this, they're reading this ad copy, if you don't want to get to know me and you don't like this type of imagery, they're already going to make the connection as they're reading it that they're probably not going to work with me or I'm not going to work with them. So it gets rid of a lot of the people that, just want the free session type of deal. So we're doing a filtering process through the ad copy and taking all of those different branding elements and implementing them right off the get-go so that what's the goal of an ad? Spend the least amount of money but get the best amount of results, right? So I'm not just throwing this out to everybody, getting all these leads in, and then I don't book anything from it because they don't resonate with my brand. That's not happening here. And I'll show you guys an example of that in a second. But this way we can find exactly what you're envisioning for your dream wedding or engagement session photographs. So the next portion here of what I like to include in the ad copy is my mission statement for my business, which is just reiterating again what I was just talking about myself. My biggest goal is to go beyond just photographer. I'm not just here to take photos. We're going to create masterpieces together. I want to have fun with my couples. I want them to be the type of people who will stay out till, like 12 a.m. with me because they got a sick venue and they're like, let's go do some night shots. And I'm like, I'm down for it because that's what I love to do. And that's going to be subjective to everybody here. You all will work what you need to work, but you just take that into account in what you're able to do for people that doesn't hurt you, but it'll benefit you later on, if that makes sense. I'm nervous as crap. So I want to make my clients feel just like friends and family, to know you so I can provide you with the most excellent experience possible. So again, what are we selling, guys? There could be 5 other people who have the same style, same photos, they use the same gear, their branding is almost identical, but it's the experience that we give that will differentiate us and allow that person to say, yeah, take my $5,000, whatever it might be that you're charging, okay? So are you ready to connect, create, and have a blast? I'm hyping them up now at this point. I want them to go onto my page and fill out the form. So if this sounds like you, tell these people what you want, because if you don't, they will not do it. They're just going to be like, oh, that's nice. Okay, scroll. Tell them, go do this, and you'll see it in a second as well on the page. Go hit the learn more now and submit the form to get this rolling, all right? So let's go over to the landing page, all right? So basically all I did was I took that ad copy and I put it right on the page because I don't want there to be any discrepancies at all. I use the same image because, again, I'm trying to attract a specific type of crowd, right? But look at the landing page. Words are important, guys. Look how many times I have fill out the form, keep going, submit below, right? We want people to submit that form, submit the form, okay? So you go through, I'm showcasing work on what I want to be shooting in the next year. Here in Florida, this is extremely hard to find. It's barns, beach, more beach, and barns. And you have a nice couple venues here around, but they're pretty difficult to get into unless your couple has already booked them. All right, so this is a place in downtown Orlando called The Balcony. They were a free engagement session winner, and I didn't choose them just because they had this venue. Like Alex and Kevin, great people. We go to Ice Bar in Orlando. We hang out. We have fun. They're my friends, right? So, and that's what my branding is all about. So just reiterating again with the ad copy too, I wanted to share with you guys what somebody said who submitted to the form. All right, so one of the bottom questions I have here is, what about my work speaks out to you and why? So this guy said, this was a guy who submitted for his fiance. He goes, the fact that you asked is honestly refreshing. Who writes that to me? to an ad, right? Like, that's not something you'd expect. And the connection and the need to want to actually be a part of who we are is something that stood out to me. You want to be more than just our photographer. You want to be familiar with us on a personal level so much that somebody who is emotionally invested will always do better creating art with us because there was passion and heart put into it. So that to me, you know, I can tell, you all can tell, you're all nodding your heads that obviously this guy won a free engagement session, right? Because he understood what I was trying to put out there. And I was being intentional with what I was trying to put out there. So just recapping with everything, guys, I've seen a lot of people come on to the coaching calls. If you don't have your branding set up, or if you don't understand your branding deep enough where you can portray it out visually like this and non-visually, you need to get on that. Because the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll be able to be running ads. For a lot of the new people, ads are going to be the jump start for you to get into that position.